Hey, I'm Jolly from United Streamers, and we're going to talk a little bit about upgrading your computer chair components and or repairing them. Now, generally whenever you get a computer chair, you're going to get the cool design up top because that's what your eyes attract to first off. But basically, people don't really ever pay attention to the lower half section of the computer chair. And you end up getting something basically like this. It's a plastic chair base, and over time, those can end up cracking due to the stress that we put on the chairs with leaning back or basically just even sitting in them. Additionally, this was the caster that was on my computer chair, and just comparing it to Couture's caster, you can see that this one is much larger, it's thicker in comparison, and it's going to be a much more durable wheel for you. Generally, with wheels, what ends up happening is the base right along there, or the wheel housing itself went cracking, and then you are out of a caster, and then either from that stress from the wheel cracking, it can crack the base, or you got to figure out a way to go ahead and repair it so that we can actually move around with it. So they went ahead and sent us a good deal of their product line. Now these are some of the casters with different colored variations of the wheel ends themselves there. You've got a larger, rounder base, a little bit thicker, and then the center mass here is a more solid, sturdy piece of plastic there in order to give you that extra security of the wheel and be an upgrade. I mean, a lot of times we accessorize our desks, our computers, and things of that nature, but we never really take into account our computer chairs that you see whenever you're streaming and you back up in your computer chair. Sometimes, depending on what you're doing, you can actually see the base of it. Not only just for the viewers though, but for yourself. I mean, if you're going to deck out your computer, which something is people don't typically see, why not do the same thing with your computer chair or whatever else that you can see, or your friends can come over and check out. Just kind of spruce it up and make it your own. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm getting rid of the plastic base. It's, since it's plastic, they have to use a lot of plastic and make it really heavy because it doesn't have the same strength as metal does. So that's why I end up going with the rollerblade casters that are gray on white, well, gray on clear, and then chrome to go along with the chrome base that is, what I'm using. I believe this is a 24-inch base, whereas my plastic base was a 26. Things to consider about that are the fact that the wider the base is going to be, the more sturdy it's going to be for you when leaning back or anything else like that. So if you are a heavier person, consider maybe a 20-inch or 28-inch base. I really don't think I'm going to have much of an issue with a 24 myself. I'm around like 203 pounds currently right now. As you saw, those are some of the casters there that with clear on chrome. That's black center with chrome, and then you got your black on black. So any way you want to really assemble this, with different color schemes, you've got that option. Additionally, this is the gas shock. It's kind of the reason why my chair needed to be upgraded or repaired to begin with, is because the shock inside there's ball bearings, and in my old gas shock it was plastic ring with the bearings in there, and they ended up snapping, which happens over time. But now, instead of having, this is part of it, instead of having a black tube, I've got a chrome tube, which you can get either black or chrome. This one here actually extends out to, I believe it's 15 inches and 7/16, 7/18, something like that. So I've got further travel if I want it, or I can get the shorter version, which is probably more identical to the one that I just tossed on the ground. But I'm going with the larger one because it's got a slightly longer base here, and I want to see more of that chrome whenever I walk into the room or to the computer desk. So that's what I'm going with. Now these wheels do take a little bit of force with this particular base to put in. There's a ring around them So if you're just repairing or replacing your wheels, you just pull them out with a little bit of force. To put them in, what I do is these right around here. It's kind of like a C clamp that's on there. What I do is I put the back rounded section into the hole, and I kind of push it towards that mass back and forth, and then get it to go down in there. Depending on how your base's holes are, it could take a bit of force to put in there. So if you're not super strong, you may want to, have someone that is stronger around to be able to do that. Some other tidbits about this. What I would recommend. So this is the chair base, and this piece goes into the chair base here, like that. And then this will go ahead and activate the button, which allows it to go up or down, depending on what you're trying to do with it. Now, I would recommend taking like bearing grease and put it in between where the two halves of this mechanism actually move. I have used WD-40 before to go ahead and load this up, but I made it squeak quite a lot. But I found with like bearing grease and that kind of stuff, it keeps it quiet. And basically what it looks like is, it kind of looks like petroleum jelly or whatever it is, like Vaseline. That's what this stuff looks like. It's not like that black stuff that you'd see, underneath the hood of your car. What I did is I went ahead and put it in between the cracks, and I took a Ziploc bag and kind of twisted it up and then pushed in between these two cracks to go ahead and push that stuff down in there. Then just clean it all up so that way, whenever I reach underneath here to grab this or anything else, I don't get grease all over my hands. And that's pretty much it. So once you got that all cleaned up and ready to go, you can assemble your chair. After you get the wheels on, all you really got to do is take the base, drop this into there, drop the chair on top of that. That's it. And then you've got a customized wheelbase. You got, I'm going with the chrome here to kind of keep in theme with the bottom. And then the top will be just solid black, because that's what this top is. Except for the sides of the arms, which are, sort of a gray silver, which matches with the wheels that I actually have on here. So it would be the base will look really nice, and then the wheels match up with the arms and get a nice two-tone kind of theme to it a bit there. We're going to give you some close-up shots on the website. I will do individual reviews of the wheels themselves, so that way you can see that. But this is just sort of the intro and how easy it is to actually put these things together. And then make them your own. So, just food for thought. And instead of taking your computer chair, like if you got one of those race-style type chairs that are like, $300 or more, if something breaks, or if you want to go ahead and accessorize it, you can go ahead and repair that instead of having to throw the whole thing out and then start over. Anyways, that's that, and I hope you guys find this video helpful. We'll be back with a bit more about the casters, the gas shocks, and things of that nature there in a later video.